Move your body. This video will help you evaluate how physically active you currently are, learn some basic information about physical activity and fitness, discover different strategies for including physical activity in your life, explore personal barriers to being more active, and brainstorm ideas for overcoming your barriers. Here are some questions to assess how physically active you are. Do you enjoy being physically active? Do you get as much physical activity as you need? What are some aerobic, strength building, and flexibility activities that you enjoy? How often and for how long do you participate in these activities? Would you like to change a physical activity habit? When many people think about being active, they think about exercising. Exercise is planned, structured, and repetitive activity. Although exercise is an important part of being physically active, being active includes much more than just exercise. Physical activity is any body movement. It occurs when muscles contract to move your body. Because you are moving your body, you use calories. Physical activity has many health benefits. It improves health by lowering the risk of certain chronic diseases like heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure, diabetes, and certain forms of cancer. Being physically active on a regular basis strengthens bones and muscles, improves mental health and mood, boosts brain power, increases energy, and improves sleep. Fitness is the ability to carry out daily tasks with energy and strength. The three basic types of fitness are aerobic, muscular strength, and flexibility. This video will delve into each one of these in more detail. Aerobic fitness is how efficiently your heart, lungs, and blood vessels are able to transport oxygen throughout your body. The better your aerobic fitness, the easier it is to complete routine physical tasks and rise to unexpected physical challenges. The characteristics of aerobic activity include repeatedly moving the large muscle groups of your body, such as your arms, legs, and hips, increasing your heart rate and breathing, and improving your cardiorespiratory or heart and lung system's endurance. The 2018 Physical Activity Guidelines for Americans, issued by the United States Department of Health and Human Services, recommended the following as physical activity for adults to obtain substantial health benefits: 150 to 300 minutes, or 2.5 to 5 hours, of moderate intensity activity a week. Moderate intensity activities increase your heart rate and breathing but allow you to be able to talk comfortably. Many activities can either be moderate or vigorous depending on how much effort you extend. Some examples of moderate intensity activities include walking at a moderate or brisk pace, dancing, water aerobics, swimming, mowing the lawn, housework, or bicycling. Or 75 to 150 minutes, or 1.5 to 2.5 hours, of vigorous intensity activity a week. Vigorous intensity activities cause a large increase in heart rate and breathing. Some examples of vigorous intensity activities include jogging, running, high-impact aerobics, swimming laps, and bicycling at a fast pace or uphill, and most competitive sports, such as football, basketball, soccer, rugby, kickball, handball, and racquetball. Additional health benefits may be gained by being physically active beyond these amounts. Now that we have talked about the aerobic recommendations, we are going to do an aerobic activity. For those who would like to participate, we are now going to do a power march for 1 minute. Stand up, march in place, lifting your knees high as you pump your arms. Now moving on, we're going to muscular strength fitness. Muscular strength is the ability of a muscle to exert force. Muscular strength is built by working against resistance. When you improve muscular strength, you will often also increase the size of your muscles and strengthen connective tissues. The key to making muscles stronger is to work them against resistance, whether the resistance comes from weights or gravity. Some examples of activities that build strength include weight training. You can lift free weights, use weight machines, or lift household items such as cans, books, and jugs. Elastic exercise bands. An alternative to lifting weights is using elastic exercise bands. They build muscle strength while putting little or no strain on your joints. Calisthenics. Calisthenics or other forms of exercise build strength by working muscles against gravity. Examples include taking the stairs and doing jumping jacks, sit-ups, or push-ups. The 2018 Physical Activity Guidelines for Americans recommend the following minimum guidelines for muscle strengthening activities. At least 2 days a week, go through a strength building routine. Include 8 to 10 different exercises in each routine. Each exercise should work at least one major muscle group: the arms, shoulders, back, chest, abdomen, hips, and legs. For example, you might do push-ups to build arms, shoulders, and abdominal strength, and deep knee bends for leg strength. Do at least one set of each exercise 8 to 12 repetitions. One set is enough to build strength, if resistance is adequate, though 2 to 3 sets may be more effective. Here are some weight training tips do's. Lift the right amount of weight. Use a weight heavy enough to tire your muscles after 8 to 12 repetitions. You should barely be able to finish the last repetition. Once you can easily lift the weight for up to 8 to 12 repetitions, increase the weight by up to 10%. Continue the 10% increases until you are satisfied with the amount of weight you are lifting. Use proper form. Learn to perform each exercise correctly. If you are not sure whether you have the proper form, consult a personal trainer or other fitness specialist for help. Better form gives better results and less chance of injury. If you are not able to maintain proper form, either decrease the weight or the number of repetitions. Breathe. Many people tend to hold their breath while they lift weights. This can lead to dangerous increases in blood pressure. Breathe out as you lift the weight and in as you lower the weight. Seek balance. It is important to strengthen opposing muscles like your biceps, front of the upper arm, and triceps, the back of your upper arm, in a balanced way to avoid injury. Rest. Avoid exercising the same muscles 2 days in a row. This can be accomplished in one of 2 ways. You may work all major muscle groups in one session 2 or 3 times a week. Another option is to have daily weight training sessions in which you only work on specific muscle groups. For example, on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you would work your arms, shoulders, back, and chest, while on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, you would work on your stomach, buttocks, and legs. Here are some weight training tip don'ts. Forget shoes. Shoes are important for weight training because they protect your feet and provide traction to keep you from slipping. Don't skip warming up. Warm up by doing 5 to 10 minutes of aerobic activity, such as walking before lifting weights. Muscles that have been warmed up are less likely to be injured than cold muscles. Work through the pain. There are several possible causes for pain during weight training. If an exercise causes pain, stop because you may have an injury. Try the exercise again in a few days or try them with less weight. If you still experience pain, consult a physician. Don't overdo it. Using too much weight or doing too many sets of exercises may cause injury. Don't rush. To isolate and build specific muscles, it is important to move the weight in a slow, controlled manner. This makes your muscles do the work instead of relying on momentum. To give you an opportunity to be physically active, we are going to do a strength building activity. For those who would like to participate, we are now going to do 10 repetitions of a wide leg squat. This activity may be challenging for some people. Stand with your feet slightly greater than shoulder width apart, about 6 to 8 inches in front of your chair. Leaning forward slightly at the hip, bend your knees and squat, pushing out your rear until you are in a seated position. Keep your chest lifted and your back, neck, and head in a straight line. Pause for a breath in the seated position. Leaning forward, stand up slowly. Make sure you keep your knees directly above your ankles. As you do this, push up from your heels through your lower legs, thighs, hips, and buttocks, which will help keep your knees from moving in front of your feet. Flexibility is the ability to move joints and muscles through the full range of motion. Having good flexibility may prevent injuries. Activities that improve flexibility include stretching, yoga, Pilates, and Tai Chi. Perform flexibility activities when your muscles are warm, either after your warm-up or after you are active. Try to include flexibility activities at least 2 to 3 days a week. Perform the activities within your own range of motion. Do not bounce or strain. Hold each position between 15 and 30 seconds. Seated Warrior 1. A yoga pose. Sit near the front edge of a sturdy chair. Turn your body to the right and move your buttocks closer to the left edge of the chair to create a support for your right thigh. Extend your left leg back and straighten it as much as possible. If it's comfortable, tuck your back toes under in a lunge position. If not, keep your foot flat on the ground. Lift your arms up if comfortable, or place your hands on your hips or on the seat of the chair for support. Whether you are just beginning to be physically active or it is already a consistent part of your life, it is important to progress. You do not want your physical activity to be static or always the same. Your body will receive more benefit from your physical activity if you progress. Here are some suggestions. Start slowly. It is important that you start out slowly, especially if you have not been active for a while. This may be 15 to 20 minutes of aerobic activity, one set of 8 repetitions of strength training, or 10 minutes of gentle stretching 2 times a week. Progress gradually. When the physical activity is no longer challenging and you are ready for more, progress gradually. There are 2 different ways to progress. Add another area of fitness. If you are currently doing aerobic activities, add strength training or flexibility training. Increase one aspect of the activity. The different aspects of physical activity include frequency. Frequency is how often you are physically active. If you are active for 3 days a week, increase to 4 days. Duration. Duration is the amount of time that you are physically active. If you walk for 20 minutes, increase to 30 minutes. Intensity. Intensity is how hard or fast you are physically active. If you walk for your physical activity, increase your pace to a brisk walk or jog. Plan ahead. In your busy life, you will have to plan ahead to be active. Set aside time each day when you schedule nothing else but physical activity. Plan what, where, when, how, and with whom. By making a plan, you will be more likely to be physically active. Make physical activity your second job. With a job, you have to go to work, even if you don't want to. Treat your physical activity the same. Do it even if you do not want to. However, by choosing physical activities that you enjoy, you may find that you want to be more physically active. Have a backup plan. If something vital comes up and you are not able to be physically active when you wanted, have some easy alternatives planned. For example, if you miss your physical activity in the morning, plan on squeezing in some physical activity during lunch or after work. Many different strategies can help you include or increase your physical activity. Three that we will discuss are 1. Fit into daily life, the lifestyle approach, 2. Several short sessions, and 3. One long session. It is important that you do what works for you because the most important thing is that you are active. You may find that using one or a combination of strategies works on different days or at different times of your life. Plan ahead, be flexible and creative to make physical activity happen. Technology has saved us time, money, and activity. With technology, we have been trained to be as efficient as possible to get more done. Often we give up physical activity to be more efficient. However, you can fit physical activity into the things that you are already doing. This is called the lifestyle approach to being physically active. What matters is the total amount of time you are active so you can accumulate activity throughout the day. It is recommended that you accumulate at least 30 minutes of activity a day. Advantages to this physical activity approach are that it may be easier to fit into life. It can take less time, and it is a great place to start being more active. A disadvantage is that you may not improve your health quite as much as through other types of physical activity. However, keep in mind that any increase in physical activity will improve your health, and research has shown the lifestyle approach to physical activity has comparable results in improving physical activity, aerobic fitness, blood pressure, and weight. Lifestyle physical activity also appears to be easier for people to maintain and is more cost-effective. Planned and efficiency. For the lifestyle approach to work, you have to think differently. One way to be more active is to be less efficient. An example may be to carry the groceries into the house in several trips rather than in just one. Can anyone else think of another example? Be creative. Use your creativity to add more activity into what you are already doing. The Fitting Activity into Everyday Life handout provides some ideas about how to squeeze in fitness during other activities. Use a pedometer or fitness tracker. A great way to track how much activity you are currently getting throughout the lifestyle approach is to use a pedometer or fitness tracker. For the first week, you use a pedometer to track your daily steps, active minutes, and calories burned, etc. If you are using a pedometer, figure out your average daily steps by dividing the total number of weekly steps by the number of days you have kept track of your steps. Once you know your average daily steps, you can strive to increase your average daily steps each week by 500 steps per day until you average at least 10,000 steps per day. Another strategy for being physically active is to do several short workouts throughout the day. This is a great option if you lack the time for one long physical activity session. Additionally, some research suggests that several shorter sessions of physical activity may improve certain aspects of health more than one long section. However, you might not place as much importance on short sessions of physical activity as you do on one longer session, which may lead you to put off physical activities and let other things get in the way. Here are some tips if you do several short sessions. Mini workouts. Most research indicates that you need at least 5 minutes of continuous activity to have much effect. You may begin to feel an endorphin rush after 5 to 7 minutes of activity, so a 10-minute mini workout may be more satisfying than a shorter one. However, 2 to 3 minutes of activity at a time can make you feel good. Accumulate 30 minutes a day. Strive to accumulate at least 30 minutes of activity on most days to see substantial health benefits. Strive for variety. To get the greatest benefits from this physical activity strategy, vary the time, intensity, or type of activity. You can vary your activity during a single physical activity session or from session to session. Intensity. With shorter physical activity sessions, it is especially important to increase the intensity, the strength, force, or speed of your activity to get the same health benefits as a longer session. Interval training. Interval training is the ultimate form of varying your physical activity. It is alternating periods of high-intensity activity with periods of low-intensity activity during the same session. For example, walk for 2 minutes, run for 2 minutes, and repeat until you reach 10 minutes. Interval training improves cardiovascular health and performance more than traditional methods of physical activity. Additionally, research indicates that interval training burns more calories than one long, slow endurance exercise. On the negative side, interval training and high-intensity mini workouts may contribute to more injuries in those who are not prepared for the physical demands of these types of workouts. Therefore, interval training is not for those who are just starting to be active. Like all forms of physical activity, you will get better results and fewer injuries if you start out and progress slowly, so that your body has time to adapt. The traditional form of physical activity is to do one long session of activity a day. This may be the best strategy to improve cardiovascular and muscular endurance. Some people find it hard to fit one long session of activity into their already busy schedule. Others prefer this method because they can get it over with all at once. Strive for at least 20 to 30 minutes. These recommendations are the minimum guidelines to promote and maintain health and prevent chronic disease. Include all aspects of fitness. Many people tend to focus their physical activity on one aspect of fitness. For overall health and well-being, include all aspects of fitness into your routine: aerobic, muscular, strength, and flexibility. Vary frequency, duration, intensity, and activities. As your body adapts to being physically active, it is important to gradually progress by increasing some factor of the activity: frequency, duration, or intensity. Include different types of activity into your routine, such as walking, biking, and swimming. Will also keep your routine fresh and challenging. Think about all the excuses you have had for not being more physically active. What barriers get in your way? List as many of your barriers as come to mind. Once you have your list, prioritize your barriers from biggest to smallest. Pick one and think of ideas for overcoming this barrier. If you are struggling to come up with ideas to overcome this barrier, ask your family or friends for ideas. Choose one of your ideas and try it for a week. If it works, continue to use this strategy to overcome this barrier. If it doesn't work, try another strategy. Keep trying new ideas until you find something that works for you. Today you have learned different aspects of being physically active. You have evaluated how physically active you currently are and learned basic information about physical activity and fitness. You learned several strategies to include physical activity into your life. You also explored personal barriers to being more active, brainstormed ideas for overcoming barriers, and chose a barrier to work on.